This is The Wheel Weaves, a Wheel of Time podcast with no spoilers. Hey everyone, I'm your host Dani, and I'm the first-time reader going through this series chapter by chapter. As always, there's no spoilers past the chapter we're covering, and that means it's totally safe for first-time readers. I'm joined by my co-host Brett, who's a longtime fan, and he's guiding me on this journey. We'd like to thank and acknowledge our executive producers, Brandy and Kirkwood, Yanis, LightBlindedFool, Green Man, Deyvis, Ferreira, Margaret, Big C, Bennett, Williamson, Hannah Green, Noralia, Geof, Searles, Erik, Greysin, Ishara, Ashlee, Bradley, Laura Lewis, and Helena Jacobsen. And before we get into things today, we just want to thank and welcome Nevi MC, Tone Spin, and Ivan Begert to the Wheel Weaves Patreon team. Thank you so much for your generosity and your support. We really, truly appreciate it and could not do this without you. In this episode, we're talking about Chapter 19 of Towers of Midnight.
Yeah, Chapter 19 is Talk of Dragons.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Double meaning.
Yeah?
Yeah. We talk about the baby dragons too.
Okay.
We talk about both. We talk about the baby dragons and we talk about the exploding kind.
Yep. Okay. Yep. Okay. That makes sense. We do. And I like the map perspective. I like the little tidbits. And I like the reunion.
Me too.
It's a wonderful chapter.
It was a good one.
Yeah. It's like lighthearted. It's a little bit
lighthearted. It's heartwarming.
Yeah.
It made me smile.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like there's a lot of badness to come very soon, and I'm being lulled into, because the last little while, like the whole first half of this book is feeling good. Like we're getting wins, everyone's communicating, everyone's feeling pretty good about their situation.
And you're like, that can't be right.
Even Nynaeve and Egwene have kind of squashed their stuff, and Rand is doing okay. Like, everything feels like things are going...
coming up Millhouse.
Too well.
And...
things are coming up Millhouse.
Yeah.
For all of our friends.
And you know how that ends up. Usually poorly afterwards, right?
I don't know.
I think that's the moral of...
No, the moral of that story is flood pants work.
Okay, before we do this,
my ankles are wet, but my cuffs are bone dry.
All right. On that note, we have some corrections to make over the last couple episodes that we haven't really gotten into.
Yes, we do.
Okay. Do you want to start us off? The Shanahar one? Mm-hmm. Because my Googling skills are... horrible, apparently.
You're like, it doesn't mean anniversary.
Can't figure out anything. I looked at... I did. And
it was like, literally the next week was Rosh Hashanah.
Yeah.
And you say Shana Tova, Shana Tova.
Yeah. Oh.
And Tova in Hebrew is good. And Shana is year.
Yeah, so Shana
literally means year. And you're like, it doesn't mean anything in any language.
You couldn't find anything.
And then a bunch of my Hebrew-speaking friends were like, hey, dummy.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh, right.
Oh, no. I blame you. So,
me?
Yeah. Okay, but also, apparently, I've done some pronunciations incorrectly, too.
Well, that's a given.
Yeah, and I feel like I should always have the disclaimer, but apparently, because I talked about Warwick Castle, but apparently it's pronounced Warwick, because why wouldn't you leave that?
Why would you say the W?
Yeah, the second, the first one you
The first one
do
you
that.
say,
not the
second
second.
one you don't.
You just put it together, just like, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And there's another correction, too.
Oh, no.
So remember when I was completely flabbergasted that Trollocs could shoot bow and arrows?
Yeah.
And I couldn't even for the life of me picture a Trolloc being...
Yeah, why is that the part we get?
Good enough to, I don't know, with it, and I don't know, smart enough to know how to shoot a bow and arrow. Anyway, turns out I just forget anything that ever happened with Perrin.
Yeah.
And he was almost fatally shot with a Trolloc arrow.
Yeah.
And that's a real thing that happened in the Two Rivers. And I was like, oh, I totally forgot that even happened.
You just blocked it all out.
People are like, you idiot. We definitely know Trollocs can shoot arrows. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know.
Yeah, the problem is that sometimes you say things so confidently that you make me second guess my own opinions on things. And it's like, wait, what? Is Rand the Dragon Reborn? I'm not actually sure now. But, okay, so we can get into it, I guess. Mm-hmm. But for this fun fact, I like this one.
The corrections weren't the fun fact?
No.
Damn it.
Now we have a fun fact. This is a fun one, too.
Is it?
I mean, I think it's fun.
Okay.
Okay, as is tradition. So we get to see Matt escorted to the meeting with Elaine, and Guybon is there, and he's got a chance to clarify some rumors.
You have to remind me who that is, by the way.
Yeah, okay. But anyways, we'll get there. We'll talk about it when we get there, but there's a couple rumors floating around And Matt says some things about some of these rumors, and we'll point out all of them when we get there. But I want to talk about one specifically, the first one, because Gaibon asks, hey, what's the story about you hanging from a tree
for 9
for
days?
9 days? Yeah, and we know that Matt definitely did hang from the tree of life.
But we have no idea how long it was actually for.
We don't, and it was the Ruidian thing, so that's the context. He did hang from the tree.
Because we don't know how long Rand was in the columns for. We don't know how long Matt was in the doorway for. And at what point was the meeting where...
Yeah, and it was like the literal tree of life. So, you know, all that. That's not the point of this fun fact here. But Matt just answers, nope, that didn't happen. But then he's thinking to himself, like, what the heck is that 9 days thing? Like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
He doesn't know. But here's the thing. I know the answer where the 9 days thing comes from, because... RJ liked to draw on some real-world inspiration from mythologies. There's a whole lot of Norse mythology with, like, Thor and Odin and all that stuff. This one is definitely an Odin thing. And we already know that Matt has, like, a little bit of Odin inspiration with his Ashendari. A little bit of a skill testing question here, because there's an inscription in it, and there's the 2 ravens on it. And the inscription says, thus is our treaty written, thus is agreement made. Thought is the arrow of time, memory never fades. What was asked is given, the price is paid. So Odin has 2 ravens, and we've talked about this before. Do you remember their names?
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to ask me what was on the Ashendari, and
I
was like, I have no clue about that.
You didn't memorize that?
Didn't memorize that. Didn't even know at all. I actually forgot there was an inscription on it.
So the ravens are named after thought and memory.
Thought and memory.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, you just gave it to me. I was about to say that.
You got to guess the Norse names for them.
Oh, thought and memory.
Yeah, Hugin and Moonin.
Hugin and Moonin?
Hugin and Moonin. And I know I'm not saying that right, but...
Hugin and Moonin?
Hugin and Moonin.
Aw.
Maybe it's Moonin? I don't know. Anyways, they fly all around the world bringing information to Odin. We've done that fun fact before.
That is the best names for pets.
Hugin and Moonin?
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it is. Thought and memory. I love that.
Okay.
I think that's great. I think if anybody's like, what should I name my 2 fish I just got?
Hugin and Moonin.
Hugin and Moonin.
Yeah. Okay. But wait, there's more, because that was the old fun fact. This is the new fun fact. So one of the stories, Odin was sitting on his throne looking out over the whole world, and he wanted to know everything and gain wisdom and knowledge of things that were hidden from him, and that drove him to sacrifice himself. Or rather, like, parts of himself. But anyways, there's some dramatic bits, and there's, like, the symbolic ritual suicide, and then Odin hangs himself from Yggdrasil, the Tree of Life. So we've got the hang from the Tree of Life for 9 days and 9 nights in order to gain knowledge and understanding of the other worlds. So that's where the 9 days comes from, is it's an Odin play on for how long he was hanged from the Tree of Life.
Interesting.
Yeah. There's lots of other fun stuff about Odin. One in particular, and this is what we'll end it on. There's over 170 different names recorded for Odin, and a lot of them are just like descriptors of his attributes and his characteristics. But I looked at a few of them and what they mean, not the words because I can't pronounce those. But I just want you to think of some of these while, I'm saying them and describing Matt. So this is what Odin's names are, his alternate names.
Okay.
So there is Spear God or Spear Master.
Got it, Spear.
It's pretty great. Well, because Matt's got the Ashendari too.
Got it.
Okay. Lord of the Hanged or God of the Hanged.
Makes sense.
Makes sense too. Variations of God of Battle. Like the Son of Battles.
Okay.
That's great. Okay. God of Victory.
Sure.
Plays in too. The Raven God.
Interesting. Okay.
And then my personal favorite, Hat Wearer.
Hat Wearer.
Hat Wearer.
I could give you that nickname.
That's a name for Odin.
You wear hats sometimes.
I do, and so does Matt.
Also a hat wearer.
Me and Odin have at least one thing in common. We wear hats occasionally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Now we can begin.
I like that.
That was fun, see?
And good thing we're only doing 1 chapter.
Yeah.
Because that took a while.
Yeah. It was worth it, though.
Oh, cool. Okay, sure. So now... Chapter 19, Talk of Dragons, and our chapter symbol is the 5 dice. Now, we are entering Matt's perspective, and the last time we saw from him, he was gambling in Camelin. He sent a letter to Elaine, which was full of spelling errors and hilarious.
Yeah.
And then he was also attacked by a golem. It was a whole thing.
Whole bunch of stuff going on. He was in a disguise, and now he's out of the disguise. The disguise was bad. It was like
I didn't
shave.
even know he was in a disguise.
Well, yeah, he thought about like, I've disguised myself sort of by like not shaving and then, I don't know, something about some clothes or...
Okay, well now he's in a sturdy brown coat, which is a good coat, but it doesn't even have any lace or anything.
Yeah, it's only got a couple holes and a little bit of blood stain.
Yeah, he's like, what do I need a manservant for? I know how to dress myself.
I do love that. That's a great thing. Yeah. It's like, especially for the end of it, he's like, I can do all these things by myself.
But he doesn't want to, okay?
Now he doesn't want to. Once you get used to having a manservant, you don't want to go back to not having one.
I would like a manservant.
Me too. Like, who wouldn't want that?
Yeah.
Just someone who's going to tend over your stuff.
I don't know. That actually sounds kind of irritating.
I mean, yeah.
I
but
wouldn't like it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, for the first little bit, but then you'd, like, get used to it, I think.
You think so?
Yeah.
Have to be someone I really trust. Like, I don't want anyone, like, doing my laundry. It feels too personal.
Laundry is where you draw the line?
Yeah.
They're gonna... Okay. Yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
I don't want them, like, touching my dirty clothes and stuff. Like, it just feels weird.
Okay.
For me.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
You do a lot of other stuff.
It's a lot of unexpected, but, that's fine. Okay.
No, that one's weird for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so... Most of the bloodstains have washed out, and there's only a couple holes in this jacket.
He looks really ragged. Like, it's not good.
It looks bad.
It's hilarious.
Anyway, we're gonna get Oliver, who comes running up, and he wants to tell Matt about a bunch of things.
Yeah, well, he's got his little Snakes and Foxes game under his arm, and he's like, hey, I want to tell you about all the plans that I've got. I've figured out ways to defeat the Snakes and Foxes. I really want to tell you. And Matt's like, no, not now.
I don't have time. I'm off to meet the Queen.
Yeah.
And then Oliver's like, I know, but we can ride there together and figure out a plan.
Like, we got a plan. We have to plan.
We have to plan. We got so much to do.
Yeah.
Because we're going to beat the Snakes and Foxes, and I got lots of ideas on how we're going to do that.
Yeah, and also at some point, like, I feel we should tell Oliver, like, hey, man, you're not coming.
1,000% not coming?
You're not coming. The child is not coming.
Yeah.
Don't bring the child.
Don't bring the child.
Yeah, so apparently Oliver has told Noel, ToM, and Talmanis all about the different plans, and then Matt's like, hey man, stop telling people.
Here's the thing about secrets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, like, you don't want stories getting out that you're gonna go on some adventure quest about some children's stories and fighting make-believe monsters. Like, it's not a good look.
Although, to be fair, somebody who doesn't know that they're actually going to go to the Tower of Genji, whatever, might just be thinking that they're making up stories
for sure
for
this child.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. That too.
Like adventure stories. Here's an adventure we're going to go on. And we're like making up a thing about something he already likes. Like that's a typical thing you do with kids.
Look at this idiot telling stories to a child.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair too.
But anyway, stop it, Oliver.
Yeah, because that should be a secret.
Yeah.
We get a little bit of behind the scenes stuff happening here too. So Matt does point out that there's a lot of mercenary groups around the city right now that have suddenly appeared after Elaine's Succession War has ended. And then he's like, oh yeah, mighty suspicious.
Real convenient.
Yeah. Especially because he's considered, like, he's heard Elaine has used traveling to bring troops to her. And you can't really use delay tactics very well from all these different armies. When traveling exists. You can't be like, oh, I was on my way here.
Yeah.
It just took a long time. You can't use that.
Right.
So he knows. But I mean, that's what, you know, people are going to...
Well, they still probably can at this point.
Yeah.
I didn't know traveling was an option for me.
Even though you had come to my city town house. And...
I wasn't ready then, and now I am ready.
Yeah. Also, Oliver's swearing a lot, so that's good.
And Matt has no idea where he's picked it up from.
Yeah. I blame the other guys.
He doesn't know where he... Blood and bloody ashes learned that swearing.
It's like when a kid learns a swear word, and then they just, like, use it all the time. They gotta try it, they gotta see how it feels.
Right.
You know?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay, but now Matt is going to meet up with ToM and with Talmanis and the 50 soldiers that are going with him into Camelin.
Yeah, we're going for this queen meeting.
Yeah, and ToM is dressed up.
So fancy.
So fancy. His mustaches are waxed and his cape is
looking good,
lined with gold, and he's all clean and fancy.
Yeah. Matt makes a comment too. It's like, oh, that's why you're working so hard, making so much money in the last little while
here. So
you
could buy all this good, cool stuff.
Yeah, and there's a reason. We're gonna come back to ToM in a minute, but there's also a contrast.
Like, well, you're dressed like a bum.
Yeah.
Is that a thing that you wanted? Like a
Is that going well for you?
Like a homeless person?
Yeah.
That's what you wanted?
Someone who can't afford anything?
Yeah.
It's
and
like,
Matt's
that's
like, no, it's a good coat.
Yeah, dressed like a farmer. It's good. I am a farmer. And this is actually the funniest bit, I think, of the chapter.
Yeah, just because a man marries someone with a title doesn't mean I'm nobility. And Tom goes, yes, that's exactly how that works.
It's like one of the literal only ways to become a noble is to marry someone who's a noble.
Maybe not in Shanshan land.
I know, I love that. That's Matt's comeback.
I don't know.
We can't say, and don't talk about that whole Prince of the whatever. Don't even talk about that.
Can't even say for sure.
Yeah.
We have no idea how the Shanshan stuff works.
Until we talk to her again.
And Tom is like, I don't know. They pretty much think that you're a prince now.
Yeah, they called you the prince. They
remember that?
Like bowing to you.
No, we can't know for sure.
Who's to say?
Who's to say?
Yeah, I do it. It's pretty comical. It's a good little bit there.
And it's not the only way to become a noble.
One of the only ways.
The other way is the queen can just make you one.
Elaine can say, you're a noble now. Also hilarious.
Which also might just happen. So now we're off to meet the Queen of Andor.
Yeah, let's do this. We're not going to waste very much time, actually, which I appreciate in the chapter.
Nat has Eludra's papers tucked away, and we get the list of things that we need, and we really don't know how we're going to convince Elaine that we need all this, but we're going to try really hard.
Yeah, he'll use his best smile. But, okay, so we need all the Bell Founders, if you remember the list. We need bronze, iron, lots of powders, and then, like, thousands of crowns.
Everything else.
Everything. We need everything.
We need everything we can get from the ground.
Yeah.
We need it.
Yeah, and Eludra was like, hey, how much is there in the entirety of the country?
Yeah.
I need all of that and then keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, and then we get a little bit more about all the mercenary groups here as they're heading into Camelin, because everyone is camped far away from the city.
Yeah.
That was the order that Nori had given everybody, which is why they were in this situation in the first place here.
Yep.
But apparently, Matt's group is getting a bit of a reputation.
Because they're organized and disciplined and led by the personal friend of the Dragon Reborn.
Right. We don't want that one to be known, but
people know it.
People know it.
And so they reach the city, they're marching through, and then people start cheering for them.
Yeah, but you missed it too. Because as they're marching, a lot of people have never seen Matt before, but they know that it's led by Lord Matt. And then everyone's mistaking Lord Talmanis as Lord Matt. Because Talmanis is not dressed like a bum. Matt is. So they're like, oh, Matt isn't the
Well, that
Lord
happened
Matt.
Before too. Didn't they think Tom was the whole leader of everything?
Yeah. That was the Shanshan guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That Tom Maryland guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't think you want me. It's that guy. And they're like, that guy?
I don't think you're right about that. So, anyways, he's yeah. So now we can get to Charles Gaibon.
Go on.
Okay. Well, he's the. No, I thought. Okay.
What else? What else do you want to tell me about?
Okay, so, he's the young commander guy, so he's the one during the siege and succession of Camelin with Elaine.
Is he the one who showed up with a bunch of soldiers?
He's the guy who showed up with, the 10,000 soldiers when she really, really needed loyal troops. And then he got promoted. He's really young, but he got promoted to captain because of all of his efforts. And now he's basically second in command. So he is really high up there. So now Matt isn't sure.
I like how Charles is spelled.
With a Z. Yeah. It's how you think,
Charles.
but instead of ES, it's Z.
But it's less...
Charles.
It's more Charles.
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 Really get that Z sound.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's good.
Yeah.
Anyways, what's important is that this is a very high-ranking guy here. So Matt's like, okay, does this mean that she respects me or honoring me, or is she afraid of me? Because he doesn't know. They haven't had a lot of interactions, and who knows what she's going to think now, because he has an army, he's going to be asking for a bunch of stuff, who knows?
Yeah. Matt does not.
Matt's got no freaking clue.
Yeah.
But this is the hilarious exchange between...
Well, this I do know. I just forgot who Gaibon was.
Yeah.
They should have given me a recap on that.
Exactly who Gaibon is, yeah.
Out of all of the things we get recaps on, I wanted one on this guy. Just a real quick, this is the guy who brought soldiers that one time.
Right. Well, Matt doesn't know that.
No, I know.
How could we do that?
I heard a rumor about this guy who did this.
Yeah, okay.
There's any way.
Yeah.
There's a number of ways we can do recaps
Charles
around
Gaibon,
here.
the guy who was promoted because of...
I'm Charles Gaibon. How did you get promoted? I got a bunch of soldiers. Cool.
This is why you're not allowed to write books.
I can write books.
You could. You could write books.
People would love my books.
You shouldn't.
What?
Okay.
I'd get a really good editor.
Editors don't write the book for you.
No, but they make it sound better.
That's a ghostwriter.
Oh, I'll get one of those.
Yeah. What's the point of that?
Because it's my ideas.
Okay.
My good ideas.
Okay. Can we go over these?
Ghostwriter and an editor.
Yeah. It's just like, you're not doing anything now.
What? No,
You're dictating.
Yeah, really good ideas.
Right. Clean it up. You clean it up.
You clean it up. Make it sound good.
Yeah.
My good ideas.
That's what I'm paying you for. Oh, wait, I'm not paying you at all.
I might pay someone.
Sure.
If I'm going to make a lot of money from my books.
For sure. Makes sense.
My rewritten version
yeah.
of The Wheel of Time. It's one book because everyone communicates.
Yeah.
And that's the end.
Okay. We need to.
Okay.
We have things to talk about here.
Yeah,
so Gaibon wants to ask Matt a bunch of questions about the rumors. It's like, hey.
About Matt, which I'm like, oh my God, how do people know all these rumors about Matt?
There's lots of rumors floating around.
At least like with Rand and the Dragon Reborn, there's cause for rumors to circulate.
Well, there's a lot of inner talking of like the Band of the Red Hand. It's a big freaking deal.
I guess I didn't quite realize that.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
He's like, it's a well-known, like, very distinguished mercenary group now that has a really good track record for doing crazy shit.
I guess
That's why people even join his band, because they've heard of Lord Matt and they want to join because, like, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, anyway, so the first one is the hanging from the tree for 9 days. Matt starts off pretty good, and also keep in mind, like, I assume Matt is a terrible liar during these.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he does a bad job of lying to Gaibon about whether it's true or not. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that Gaibon at all changes. If anything, he's more dug in now that, like, everything he's heard is true.
Yes.
It's like, because Matt does, it's like whenever...
And also, this is a super awkward thing.
It is.
It's like really socially awkward for Gaibon to just be like, hey man, I heard all this crazy stuff about you. Is this super true? Is it true? Is it not true? What'd you do? It's like, this is our first meeting, Gaibon. Play it cool.
Cool. Chill out, man. You're not going to get invited to the dinner party if you keep acting weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Especially because Matt's like, I don't know, man. None of that.
You wait till later, and then you can, I don't know.
Yeah, later, after some drinks.
Talk about,
Yeah. That's normal dinner party conversations. Right. This first meeting, I don't know if it's the time to just be like berating Matt about all of these rumors.
Okay. But we're going to, and we're going to do this right now. Yeah, we're going
to do it.
Okay, so first one, he's like, nah, it didn't happen. And then Gaibon asks, hey, so you never lose a dice or at love, and that your spear never misses its target? Like, is that true? And Matt says, well, I wish the last two were true. Like, the lover and the spear never misses your target thing. And then he's like, oh, so you do always win a dice.
And he's like, well, yeah, but don't tell anyone.
Like, basically, yeah.
Basically, yeah, I do. But then no one will want to play with me if they know that. So shut it.
It's always good.
Yeah.
Okay, and then...
But the first one is the 9 days.
Yeah, the 9 days
from the tree. And Matt thinks to himself, heck, it wasn't even 9 minutes.
Yeah.
Or something. And I was like, I don't even know.
I don't know that he knows.
He doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's just...
But he even thinks to himself in terms of time that passed for him.
For sure.
He's like, I don't even know if it was 9 minutes.
Yeah. I would have to assume...
Oh, because I thought that we were actually getting some sort of time frame.
Yeah.
And it turns out no.
No.
Turns out even Matt doesn't know.
Maybe he's just like speculating, like, if I was hanging from a tree and I'm not dead, then like how long could it have been, you know?
Mm-hmm. Potentially.
That's what I got for you. So
I just thought we were going to get something more concrete, and we didn't.
No. All right. Now, one of the questions is, hey, we heard that you slew one of the Forsaken. And Matt says, not true. And he doesn't know where that one came from.
And I was racking my brain.
Yeah.
Was he there? He was there when Bilal was blasted, but that was Moraine.
Yeah. He was there with the first, like, Eye of the World stuff.
No, but he didn't... Oh, I guess with those two Forsaken, the first old ones. Older, yeah. They're all old, but...
Yeah.
Huh. The ones who looked old.
Yeah. Like, Matt's not really been involved in...
He didn't
slaying a Forsaken.
Because I was like, did he? Because now I don't even know where I am.
There's still time. Our boy can, you know...
Definitely.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
He's got the medallion and everything. Well... Yeah. We'll talk about that in a second, actually. Because there's no way that's going to go terribly wrong. All right. And then one of the other ones, I heard you dueled the King of the Aiel invaders in a battle of honor, and you won the Dragon Reborn the loyalty of the Aiel.
Yeah.
And Matt's answer is just like, it's so not good for shutting these down, too.
No.
Because he's like,
yeah, well, I killed I
killed him.
But that's because I met him on the battlefield, and if he didn't die, I was gonna. So what?
And it's like, you didn't answer the question about, like, winning the Dragon Reborn, the loyalty of the Aiel, or that it was, like, the King of the Aiel. But it's like, you didn't answer all the right parts of that question. You're like, well, yeah.
Just confirmed
You're like, yeah, I killed him. And that's...
But it wasn't that big a deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, playing it down. It's like, okay,
I don't know. It's a pretty big deal.
Yeah. Whoops.
Yeah.
And then this is the crazy one, and I love Matt's reaction to it again. So Gaibon says, there's a rumor that you stepped into Death's domain to challenge him and demand answers to your questions. Then he gave you that spear that you hold and foretold you of your own death. And Matt's like, ha ha ha, no, that didn't happen, ha ha.
But like so bad.
Yeah, and then like goes quiet. And then he's like, oh no, he suspects me. And he's like, no, that's definitely not true. It's like, he for sure believes that 100% now, that that's true.
Yeah. And also, how do people know about that?
It's just, well, I mean, Matt's bad at answering questions.
Yeah. He probably blabbed about it when he was drunk or something.
He rants about the snakes and foxes all the time.
Sort of.
He doesn't hide things. He hides things as well as Rand thinks he hides as crazy.
Okay, so not at all.
So not at all. Like, I don't believe Matt actually is very good at hiding things like this.
Okay, fair. Because that's very specific, and he's pretty guarded about that stuff.
Yeah.
For the most part.
But then he does a lot of like really weird stuff. Like he always has his scarf around his neck, and it's like if anybody's ever seen him without it, it's like, yeah, he's definitely been hanged.
Yeah.
Like, and then you're gonna sprout rumors from that, and you know,
okay. Anyway,
it's just really funny.
It is kind of funny.
It's really funny.
But my favorite part is when Matt realizes that a lot of people are paying a lot of attention to ToM.
Yeah, this is good.
And he's like, "Oh, right, I remember. See, this is a recap."
Yeah.
For us, this is how you work in recap. See?
Sure.
See, this is how you do it. Remember that time that ToM was in exile?
Yeah.
And now that Morgase is dead, he probably feels fine coming back into the city.
This is a return from exile?
And that's why he's dressed so fancy?
Mm-hmm.
And then now Matt's like, I probably should have worn something nicer. I'm feeling underdressed.
It's like, you should, because you are.
Yeah,
yes.
My theory is it's always better to be overdressed than underdressed.
Yeah.
Except for that time I went to that country bar right after going to that retirement party. And I was overdressed and felt like an idiot.
So your theory doesn't always hold true.
It really didn't, but like I still look good, you know?
Yeah, that's true. And you can always use the excuse like, oh, I'm going to a thing after.
No, my thing was I know, but what came from a thing.
They don't need to know that. But if you're like,
it was better in that context to be like, I came from a thing.
I came from a thing. I came from a thing, or I'm going to a thing.
Yeah.
Always a good excuse for being overdressed.
Yeah, and you look good.
Yeah. If you're underdressed, you're like, oh yeah, well, I'm going home after this, so I want to be comfortable now.
Yeah. I was comfortable before I left.
Doesn't work.
I'm comfortable now.
I want to be comfortable
after. I want to be comfortable after.
Yeah. Doesn't work quite the same way.
No.
Okay. Where are we? Okay, Matt's not fancy. ToM is fancy.
And they're being brought to Elaine. But before we get into this meeting, I think we should take a break.
Yeah. Can I say, though, Matt is feeling nervous.
Yeah.
He's nervous about this.
Naturally.
Well, I mean, he's not nervous about nothing ever.
Yeah, he is. He's fallible.
Okay. Even though he's walked into Death's domain and something questioning
that type of thing, that's impulsive.
Yeah.
Anything he does on a
not
whim,
thinking about consequences to his actions.
Yeah. Nothing. He doesn't have time to think through his actions. He's had a lot of time to think through this.
Right.
That's where worry and anxiety comes from.
Also, he's not bringing Talmanis in here. It's just Matt and
Even
ToM
though Talmanis really wants to frickin' meet the queen.
Yeah. Which is like, I don't know exactly, because Talmanis is Kyrianan. I don't know if we know exactly why Talmanis really wants to meet Elaine. Or
it's
the queen.
Like a pretty big deal.
I guess it would be, right?
Yeah.
Meeting a queen?
It would be a big deal to meet anybody.
I could take or leave it. Meeting a queen? I don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
That's stupid.
Can I wear my sweatpants?
No. No, you cannot.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
So, no.
All right.
Okay. Let's take a break and we'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay, so we're back.
Yeah.
And we're going to go in to the room and meet Elaine.
Yeah.
And my favorite part is that Matt thinks it's weird that she's drinking milk.
It is weird.
Why is she holding a glass of milk? That's weird.
It is weird. It's definitely a weird thing. But she's here. She's looking pretty. And Brigitte's here.
A little fuller.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And he's like, oh, should I
just put on some weight?
No, don't say it. Should I say it? No. Ladies like when you see things and notice things, right?
Probably not that, though.
It's like, I don't know.
Uh-huh.
And then Brigitte's here looking like Brigitte, as usual. So
and he's like, oh, man, I like her so much.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, me too, Matt.
Yeah. But anyways, now we have more of Matt being confused about how this is going to go down.
Right. So he thinks that this is going to be a very formal, official meeting of the Queen of Andor.
Yes.
And he's like, oh, should I bow? Like,
yeah,
he's like,
but then he's like, oh, I'm not going to bow and scrape, though. But then
maybe I should. But Elaine jumps up isn't formal at all.
Yeah.
Gives ToM a hug.
Yeah.
Starts crying. Matt's very confused.
Yes.
And then Elaine starts saying all kinds of nice things to Matt.
Super crazy.
Thanking him for all he's done.
Bringing ToM back to Andor.
Like,
all the other stuff.
Very
it's all
confusing.
Very confusing. Yeah.
Ugh, women.
I know. So complex. Yeah. And then she's like, hey, we don't even need to be formal, unless we're in public. But other than that, it's all cool.
Yeah.
And Matt's like, I guess that makes sense. Sure. And then she even, explains and
she's
apologizes.
She's like, listen, we thought you were a mercenary group.
Yeah.
And you're not.
Frickin' Nori's fault.
Nori, that dummy.
Yeah. But anyways, so it's cute, and she's nice, and not she's not mean. I like that.
I like this reaction.
Yeah.
Because she could have been calculated.
Right.
She could have tried too hard.
It could have been like an Egwene response.
It would have annoyed me.
Would have been super annoying, probably.
Yes. This I like.
Yeah.
This is way better.
But now let's get to the very big piece of information that matters.
Because you're right. Egwene would.
Oh, yeah. It would be terrible.
Egwene would never jump up and hug somebody.
No.
Never.
No.
Not even with a door closed.
No.
She's got to maintain that image,
Exactly.
Yeah. So it would have annoyed me if Elaine did that. But she didn't.
She didn't. Okay. Back to it. Back to the very big news. Jaw-dropping news that Matt apparently did not pick up on at all, because ToM just asked her,
how's the child?
How's the child? Yeah. And she's like, oh, children, actually, like twins, and that's all cute. But
and
then
Matt's like, wait, what? And then ToM's like, don't you even listen to anything that's being talked about
it's
in
not
the city?
the pregnancy is not a secret. Who the father is, that's a secret.
And Matt's like, does Rand know? And Elaine's
I hope so.
I sure hope he isn't too surprised.
Yeah.
And then Matt's like, oh my God, you guys did it?
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy.
He's the father?
Oh my goodness. But that part is a secret, Matt, so shut up about that part. But yeah, obviously people are talking, because she has...
My favorite thing throughout this entire series is how Matt, Perrin, and Rand are supposed to be like the three best friends that anybody did have.
Yeah.
And they know nothing about each other's lives.
As all good friends should know.
Like literally nothing.
I think it's a pretty accurate depiction of how a lot of, not all, but a lot of guys are with each other. I think it's an accurate representation, because you get mad at me all the time because you're like, hey, didn't you tell that person about that thing?
Yeah.
I'd be like, no, didn't mention it.
Yeah.
Because it just doesn't.
Yeah.
And you're like, how? Do you not talk? And it's like, well, yeah, we talk about stuff, but not stuff.
And they don't even talk, though.
They don't even talk. Even talk.
At least Elaine, Nynaeve, Egwene have found a way to alternatively communicate. Mm-hmm. And what's annoying me the most is that the boys have a very specific, very unique way to show each other what they're doing and see what each other's doing.
They do not use it
and
at all.
All of them hate it and shut it down and don't even try.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Well, it's also really funny because, if you recall, after they all left the Two Rivers, all the boys were like, oh, no, I'll never speak to my family again. And then Egwene's like, I've only written a few letters back home. And the guys didn't even think about writing letters.
Like,
like, yes, letters. Writing letters home.
Yeah.
And again, totally accurate, I think. Not for everybody.
Yeah, but for you personally.
I personally really connect to this. I absolutely is nail on the head for communication.
It's just wild. He's like, oh my God, Rand's had sex. Oh no, wait. He knows Rand has been doing Min a lot because he keeps accidentally looking at that.
Whoops. Oh my goodness.
But with Elaine?
Yeah.
Didn't see that one.
Yeah. Oh, also, side note, Brigida does want to know about Oliver, too.
Yeah.
And then ToM's like, hey,
because he's an ugly kid. She's got a soft spot in her heart for the uglies.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, he's going to be a professional soldier because, that's his life. He's an orphan. That's his life now. He's going to be with the band.
And she's like, what's wrong with that?
Nothing wrong with it.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So that's okay. Then we get a recap. Not really, though. We don't get a recap. ToM recaps all the adventures that they've had.
For Elaine and Brigida.
Yeah. So we don't have to read through that.
Because they want to know. Because the last time they've all been together was in Abu Dar when they were escaping.
To go back and find Oliver. And that's why Matt and ToM didn't go.
They didn't go with them through the gateway that ended up blowing up.
Because they had to go find Oliver.
Yeah.
And it's like, did you find the boy?
That you didn't come back with us for?
Yeah. But yes. The boy lived.
He did. Okay.
Yeah.
But what is interesting is Matt specifically shuts ToM up before he can talk about the 2-on marriage thing.
Yeah.
Because he's like, this is my carrot. I'm going to use this in a little bit.
Yeah. And also, like, we don't necessarily want to cross that bridge of, like,
not yet.
I'm married to the Shanshan.
The Shanshan, the head of the Shanshan.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's avoid that for now, too.
Yeah. But Elaine is going to say, okay, how about this whole Bell founder thing?
Yeah, because he wrote about it in the letter. It's like, okay, let's get down to business here. We got to talk. Oh, also, Matt asks about Varen. He's like, hey, has Varen been around lately? No.
Damn it.
No.
He's like,
shoot. Okay.
I really want to leave, and I was hoping that she'd make me a gateway to the Tower of Genjai.
Now
I'll have
that's
to
happening.
walk there.
Yeah, okay.
I was like, you're literally in the presence of someone who can make you a gateway.
Yeah.
You could ask her.
Yeah. You could go.
Yeah.
Now.
She's actually hired people.
Yes. Yes.
Who are her personal gateway makers.
Yeah.
You should use them.
Right.
Probably.
No solutions. If only we could communicate. It's fine. We'll walk. It's good. Okay, back to business, though. So we need all the Bell founders. And
I find it interesting, though. I really thought Elaine was going to tell Matt that Varen is Black Ash, like Dark Friend, and that she's dead. And because at this point, she knows that, right? Probably? Maybe?
Yeah, I think so, because we saw Egwene telling them about all that.
Yes, but she doesn't.
No.
She's like, what? She doesn't even say, what? What about Varen? And I thought we were going to talk about this note, and I thought maybe we were leading to, like, reading it.
Yeah, that would be big, too, because it's like, oh, hey, by the way, Varen is a dark friend. Then I'd be like, oh, I can read the note or not read it, or just read it and not do it because she's a dark friend. And be like,
by the way, she's dead.
And
you don't have to hold your oath to someone who's dead.
Hey, now, okay.
Some people
are going to disagree with that.
Get your game on.
Go do what the letter says.
Okay, maybe. However, nope. Varen hasn't been here, man.
If anything, it's not the dead part that negates the contract. It's the part that she's like,
I think both. I think both.
I don't think both.
I think if you have an oath to someone and they die, you don't have an oath to that person.
That's kind of what a will is. So, it's a little bit. It's like an oath that I'm going to do this thing.
The part of the oath that is binding is that he has to wait for her to get back. And the fact that now she will never come back
She never specified dead or alive. It could be like her, like a Weekend at Bernie's situation with Varen.
Or ghosts.
Ghost Varen. There's saying there's a chance. Okay. I feel like we could bypass.
I think it negates it. And I think that this would have been an interesting topic.
Okay.
Because I think we talk way too much about the dumb Bell founders.
Yeah.
We talk a lot about a lot of dumb things. This goes on for a while,
and you just want to talk about ghosts. I get it.
I want to talk about Varen and that stupid letter.
Yeah.
I'm interested in that.
Yeah, it's like the interesting things.
Everything Varen, we talk about here.
Saving Moraine. Varen again. Saving Moraine, Tower Genjai.
They don't talk about any of those things.
Cannons.
They talk about boring, stupid things that I actually already know about.
Right. It's a negotiation, see?
I know.
Because he has the Prince of the Dragons, see? And Elaine has all the resources of a city. See? How are they going to get some of this?
Elaine's like, this is crazy. You can't have all of this.
Yeah.
And
what do you even need it
Matt's
for?
like, this is why. And then Elaine
I actually like this because, okay.
Cool, let's do it.
So Matt explains, it's like, hey, it's like a giant firework and it's in a metal tube. And then you shoot it really like a big old piece of iron. And then
it busts down walls.
Yeah, well, Elaine
but
says...
not walls like Camelin.
Yeah, Elaine asks, like, why would you want to shoot a piece of metal into the air? And then Brigida figures it out, and she's like, oh, shit. Yeah, like, this is huge. And then, yes, we could knock down a wall like Camelin's.
Or a wall of Trollocs.
Yeah, it's fine. He's working on a scatter shot. But there's, like, a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that's happening in this conversation about planning for the last battle.
Yes.
Where it's like, hey, we make a bunch of these things, and Matt made Aludra make a scattershot thing, so it's not just like a cannonball.
Yeah.
But we can really be effective with these
damage.
Things. Because we always get outnumbered by freaking Trollocs.
Those idiot Trollocs.
All the time. Who can't even use bows properly, but there's so many of them.
No, it turns out they can, and they're barbed and really dangerous, Brett.
Yeah.
They can use bow and arrows very effectively.
Mm-hmm.
Perrin almost died.
True.
Don't you remember?
Of course, I remember that incident.
You remember.
Yes.
I don't.
Okay. Anyways, so there's a whole thing.
I remember it now. That's when he told Fael about the wolf thing when he was all vulnerable. And
yeah.
I remember it now.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's very exciting because now we've got a plan.
Uh-huh.
And Elaine's like, oh my goodness. She's crying again. This is exactly what I needed.
I want it all and it's all for me.
Right. Well, because
it's all for Andor.
If you recall, the big cliffhanger on Elaine's chapter was, I need something that's going to give me an edge over the advantage, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is that advantage.
But then Matt is like, wow, this is great.
Yeah.
You want to do this? And she's like, yeah, but we're going to have to keep it secret. And he's like, yeah, okay, wow, this is really generous of you.
Yeah, you're just like financing all my stuff. You're
and then
great.
She's like, wait a minute.
What do you mean?
What do you mean generous? Well, you're building all these for the band. And she's like, no.
Yeah.
No, actually, these are going to be for Andor.
Yes.
And then that's when they go back and forth. And then in the end, can you just tell me what the deal is that they make?
Yeah, for sure.
Because
Yeah, okay, one side note, ToM is very proud of Elaine because she's all being queenly and stuff.
Mother would be proud.
Exactly. Okay, so Matt doesn't want to get tied down to anybody.
Fair.
Because, okay, so Elaine tries to recruit Matt and the band to be a part of Andor and, like, the army. Matt doesn't want that to happen.
Explain it to me like I'm 6. You give money to open a lemonade stand.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm just joking.
Okay, explain it like I'm 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so Elaine tries to point out, like, hey, you can be more than just a mercenary group. You can have an official backing. You can do more. We could commission you. And Matt says, nope.
Hey, listen, do I get some points?
For what?
For Matt showing up in Andor with Elaine.
Sure.
And Elaine using his army and his general skills. Do I get, like, some points?
I'll give you some points.
Because I said this should happen.
Yeah.
I said Matt should go be her general because Brigitte doesn't want
that's not happening.
That's
right
not
now.
happening.
Yeah.
It's like a step away from what's happening.
Fair.
And like we might still get there.
That's fair.
This is like
I'll give you half marks because he very specifically does not want to be tied down to Andor because he wants to be in charge of what his men are going to do and like what they're going to risk their lives for because not every battle is worth it and he doesn't trust Elaine, the queen, the government, whatever, to be the person.
Fair.
That is fair. Very fair. And Matt also knows he's got to return to Tuon eventually, and he also doesn't want the Shanshan to have the dragons.
He also, annoyingly, wants to get back to Tuon.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
I know. Yeah, it's his wife.
I know.
That's his wife.
I know.
Yeah, but he doesn't.
She sucks so much.
Yeah. Well, he also doesn't want Andor to have the dragons either specifically, but he's like, okay, well.
I like being more removed from Tuon. Remember when I was almost liking her?
Yeah.
That was annoying.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be out of her head. And now she's so far removed that I'm like, ugh, remember how gross that person is?
Right.
And I'm like, now want Matt to separate from her?
Right.
And I'm okay with that. I don't
separation.
I don't like liking her.
Mm-hmm.
It bothers me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I get it.
I like it better that I haven't been in her head.
I get it.
And I'm like, yuck, that person's so gross.
And we never heard from Tuon again.
You know what? No, I want to hear from her again, and I want her to abolish slavery.
Yeah, change your ways. Okay.
All of them, the ways.
Yeah, just change everything about her and the culture.
Although good battle tactics, we just can't, like, the strategic nature of the way that they do battle is excellent.
Argue that they're not effective. They're very effective.
Great. Can we stop using humans, though?
Yeah.
Human slaves in your battles? Because quit it.
Right. Okay, good argument.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then next we'll talk about the animals. The Shreddits and the stuff.
Yeah. The Grom and the... Yeah, you can keep using the Grom. I don't think they're...
You think the Grom like it?
Yeah.
They're fine
I don't
with
know.
it.
What about those big, like, smart panther guys?
They probably like it.
Yeah, okay.
But it's all captivity, you know?
Yeah, all the flying lizards and stuff. It's crazy. Okay, let's talk about the deal.
It's because they don't have airplanes.
Right. We don't have any alternatives. Are you telling me if you had a giant flying lizard that you wouldn't ride it?
No, I would ride it.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Actually, I probably wouldn't. I'm really scared of falling.
Yeah, I really actually don't like... I really hate the idea of it.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, wow, neat. I'll watch from down here. See ya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like all those people who are like, you want to try skydiving? No, my fear is falling. No. I'm not scared of heights. I'm scared of falling.
Why don't you just enclose me in a case of spiders while you're at it? Do you want to go do that on the weekend? No, man. I don't want to go and do that. That doesn't sound fun for me.
You want to go just like float in a basket really high above the ground?
And you're like, yep, this balloon will for sure hold. What?
So much hot air in there.
Oh, man. Okay.
And
my wicker basket.
You're never going to fall out of the wicker basket.
Yeah, you couldn't possibly.
You couldn't.
Yeah.
Ugh, no.
Okay.
No thanks. That would be the opposite of romantic.
Yeah.
That would be the worst for us.
You want to spend 2 hours with me just crying?
Yeah. I wouldn't be okay. I feel like this is the worst.
No, I'm crying. 2 hours with me crying.
Me too.
Yeah,
yeah, we're all crying.
Okay.
And you know who's the most uncomfortable? The hot air balloon driver.
Right?
In the basket with us.
Yeah.
That's why I could never go on The Bachelor.
That is...
Because they make you do all kinds of crazy stuff. I definitely would say no.
Yeah.
I'm not adventurous or fun. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'll do something else. Not that.
We are at the beach.
Yeah.
I'm going to go sleep on the beach.
Are there
6
margaritas?
hours. Okay.
What are we talking about? Okay.
The deal. They strike a deal.
At the end, what's the deal that they come to? Break
deal.
it down for me and for everyone who didn't finish this chapter.
Okay.
I did finish it, but like some people probably didn't.
Okay. They come to the deal that 1 in 4 dragons goes to the band to keep. So 25% goes to the band for them.
Forever.
Exactly.
Even if they leave Andor, they get to take all of the...
25% under Matt's ownership.
Yeah.
They are also going to take a long-term contract, 1 year renewable. It's a contract for the same amount of money they were earning in Mirandy, and they can cancel with a month's warning, but anyone who wants to join Andor's military can be given the chance. Okay. And then, Matt wants to sweeten the deal here to make this happen. The Foxhead Medallion is on the table here.
For studying, and he wants it back in a day.
Yeah, so he says 1 day.
She says 3.
They settle on 3 days, so she gets 3 days to do what she's got to do.
Well, and he's quite relieved because he's like, what are you going to do with it anyway?
Yeah.
And she said, I'm going to copy it. I want more.
Study it and copy it.
I want to make more of them. And he goes, oh.
Yeah.
I thought you wanted to like use it against me or something.
So
or,
like he doesn't even know.
Yeah. I thought you were going to do something crazy with it.
But that's kind of cool. So let's talk about that for a second before we continue on with this deal.
Okay.
So thoughts on Elaine copying the Wolfhead Medallion Terangrial?
I was kind of surprised.
Okay.
Because in my mind, this medallion, because there's such a difference in this series between women channeling and men and all of these things. And so in my brain, this Foxhead Medallion stopped channeling when like a man is wearing it.
Okay.
I don't know. Like it did, like when she's like, I want to see if I'm wearing it.
Yeah.
And it stopped channeling on me. And I was like, oh, just anybody? Like in my brain, it was like only for Matt.
Okay.
Like it only works on Matt.
Oh.
And I was like, study it all you want. And everyone's very interested in it and cool.
Mm.
But now I'm starting to think like, oh, is this just a type of terangrial?
Well, we know that like Catwin has a terangrial that breaks weaves apart too. Like we've seen it. We've seen sort of like duplicate alternate versions.
Sidene.
From what we know, yeah.
Because of Helena.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like this does seem like a better, like a really superpower version of whatever it is.
In my brain, it's not the same.
Yeah.
And I was like, why do they even want it? And now I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Could this work for just anybody?
Because, I mean, she figured out how to copy the Adam.
Yes, she did.
Like, she copied the...
Dream rings.
Which weren't as good, to be fair.
But she also has literally zero training and practice.
Yeah.
And...
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even if we have, like, Wolfhead Medallion... So, like, my mind likes to go...
Are they all going to have a wolf on it? Or can she make them so they all have different animals on them?
Ooh, nice. I like that.
You could get your own.
Get your own personalized one.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's going to be able to do the personalization in the 3 days, you know? Also, like, what are we really doing here? Are we going to make as many copies as possible? I like to imagine a whole army with these who are, like, you know, channeler proof. That's pretty cool. But also, how many could she actually copy in whatever amount of time, you know? Like, we're not going to have.
And how often are we being, except for the Shan-Chen?
Yeah.
How often are we being channeled at?
Yeah. And I mean, situationally, let's give these out to our top people. Sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Give them to, like, our top people.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
However, how often are we being channeled at?
Right.
Is that an actual legitimate concern for our gross population?
Not for the average person. Not for the average
not
soldier,
for
probably.
Armies.
But, like, who knows what the last battle's going to look like? Like, I don't know.
Not for Aes Sedai.
Right? Maybe.
And I mean, like, I get why she's interested. It's something new and cool and crazy.
Yeah.
But, like, are there other terangrial that we probably should be studying and copying that's more important than this? Maybe.
Maybe.
The only thing is this has some sort of power that defeats Golem.
That's good,
That's
too.
the coolest part.
That is pretty cool. Yeah. And who knows if the... Well, you could maybe assume, like, duplicates could have that same property, too.
I would hope so.
Golem defeating, Weave defeating. I don't know. That's the
thing. In my brain, that's the best part of this thing.
Yeah. And, like, are we getting exact duplicates, or is it going to be, like, a dream terangrial situation where it's,
that
like...
makes you wavy.
Or, like, not as good, or whatever, like, you know?
I guess we gotta see.
We will have to see. Okay. But overall, you're down for this agreement?
Sure.
Okay. So,
You know what I did think was interesting?
What?
Matt is like, how did Elaine know that we were in Mirandy?
Yeah.
She's like, I'll pay you the same. You're getting paid in Mirandy. And he's like, how did she even know about that?
Yeah.
I don't know. She's the Queen of Andor. I'm sure
It's like, that's a pretty relevant piece of information.
Yes.
Okay. Last thing. One more thing. Very important. Matt needs a new serving man.
Yeah. And she was like, I'd give you that even if we don't have a deal.
She
you
like
look
looks him up and down.
Yeah.
You're terrible. Okay. But yeah, that is the contract. Basically, 1 year renewable contract. 1 of 4 dragons goes to the band.
But they can leave at any time.
They can leave 1 month's warning. So they're not like locked in here.
Yeah. Which is fine because they're not going anywhere. But the best part of this is Elaine wants the band to go with her to Kyrian.
Yeah, because that's what she tells him now. Because he's like, hey, by the way, the golem's in town. And she's like, shoot. You'll have the medallion back in 3 days. Not speeding that up just because the golem is here.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then, yes, we are going to Kyrian.
And Matt realizes she's making a move on the Sun Throne and is like, okay, whatever you want to do. And he even thinks this is actually like a really good use of my band's time.
Yeah.
Because right now they're all getting antsy and restless and we're all just sitting.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are Kyrianan.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So, and that's Elaine's point. So.
Yeah, so that works. Like that's where we're going to be going. But then Matt also wants to clarify, like, hey, by the way, just to make sure you're on the same page here, the band has to be free
to fight the last battle.
How Rand wants it. Like, whatever Rand needs from me, that's what I'm doing. Like, I'm not beholden to you for the last battle.
And what I appreciate from Matt at this point is he says, Aludra gets to supervise and be the project manager on all things dragon.
She's going to insist on that.
Like, your Bell founders and whoever, your top people in Camelin aren't allowed to rush in and take over her shit. These are her secret plans.
Yeah. Like she's the mastermind.
And they can't get out. And then at some point they have a discussion about how, like, this is gonna get out.
Yeah, they do talk about that. I think that's like right now too, because the part of their agreement is like he doesn't want anybody else to have them, but she does say like there's gonna be copies, and that's just natural with anything that pops up. It's gonna get out eventually, but you have
your crank crossbows.
Exactly, like eventually all that technology is gonna get out. So just prepare for that. But also like. The original is going to be probably better because it's got Aludra figuring it out. Yeah. So hopefully we can stay ahead of the game here.
Yeah. In the end, Matt just thinks that some battles aren't worth fighting. Yeah. And he wants to decide when to put his men at risk. And she agrees.
Yeah, which is funny because like immediately after they shake hands, she's like, hey, did you know that I might be planning to use soldiers against the Two Rivers? Yeah. And he's like, why? What?
Leave the Two Rivers alone. They're nothing.
She hates Perrin. She hates him.
Me too.
Yeah. She's so salty. It's like,
but you know what? It really has grown. Yeah. And from everything from her perspective, this is a legitimate threat inside her borders.
I know, but it's like also, you've done nothing. Like, they haven't done anything for the Two Rivers ever.
No. Except that, like, have they not? Have they really not?
You tell me.
That's what the Two Rivers think. I've actually recently been talking and thinking
about
this.
What has Camelin ever done for the Two Rivers?
I don't know.
Me. Did they send reinforcements when they were Trollocs? I don't think so.
Like back when it was Monetherin days?
No. Well, no. Like recently when there was Trollocs.
I don't know. They were like in a freaking... Where was the queen even? Being...
Right.
Forsakened?
Yep.
Up the Forsaken?
It's not a Two Rivers problem. That's a her problem. Yeah, I'm just saying.
Anyway, what I'm saying is, it's not just this backwater country place that they would have had us believe.
Oh, yeah.
Every single person...
Everyone knows about the Two Rivers.
In the world knows about the tobacco, knows about the wool, knows about the mountains and stuff.
Like, oh man, they made the best weed. It's like...
They're like, they know that place. They know Two Rivers. They know the access. Everyone knows about the Two Rivers. Yeah. We were made to believe that this is a nowhere nothing place that no one cares about. Yeah. People care. Yeah. They're like, where's the Two Rivers tobacco?
It's gone. There hasn't been any for so long. There hasn't been any.
And where's my good wool? Like,
yeah. Yeah.
And my apple brandy and such.
Right.
The whole world knows about the Two Rivers.
Okay. What's your point?
It's not some nothing place.
It isn't some nothing place, but the fact is...
And now it's rising up, and it's, like, way different than it was. And now it's, like, this whole entire, like, city that probably needs to pay taxes and shit.
Yeah, but it's like, where were you? What are we getting for our taxes?
Well, that is up for negotiation. However, we're not just, like, storming in and attacking.
No, we'll see what happens. Anyways, like in the whole...
Okay, when's the last battle coming? And we're really concerned about Perrin's stupid Two Rivers at this point.
It's like, you know who wants to be the leader of the Two Rivers less than Perrin? It's nobody. He doesn't want to lead the Two Rivers.
I don't know, Matt, maybe.
No.
Matt also would...
Does Matt really want to go home to rule the Two Rivers?
Who wants to be Lord of the Two Rivers less than Perrin?
Matt, maybe. Okay.
Matt wants to be Lord less.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Than Perrin. Perrin's like halfway sort of accepting it.
Right.
Like, he grumbles.
Yeah.
But then he like accepts it.
Fair enough. Matt would leave.
Matt definitely does not want anything to do with that place.
Fair point. So anyways, I like the exchange because like she's so salty about Perrin because even when she says, "Hey Matt, like I'm going to give you
Do you want to be a noble?
I'm going to give you a title, whatever."
Like, fuck that.
Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, at least you don't have the audacity that Perrin has to give himself
name
his title."
himself a lord in Camelin.
Yeah.
Which is fair.
Yeah, I know. That was Fael's fault.
Yeah, but like in terms of all the nobility and all the rules and all the everything within this world, her point is fair.
Yeah, I'll give you a medium.
Name yourself a lord.
Why not? That's how the first lords came around.
Yeah,
that's one of the ways to become a lord.
Just do it.
You marry it, you proclaim yourself, and then you're strong enough to back it up.
You got to be strong enough to back it up.
Literally that.
Because Lord Luke. Where'd that guy go?
Who knows?
Who knows where that guy is?
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Just waiting.
Right.
It's like, what, it going to be one of those things where I like speak it into existence? And he's like going to show up next chapter.
Lord Luke?
Yeah, Esam or something. Yeah. So I'm like, where the fuck that guy go?
He's been gone for so long.
He's been gone for so long, who cares?
It's right on schedule.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
When you least expect him.
Except I'm expecting.
Okay, so it's not going to be next chapter.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm excited though.
Yeah, well, we're not quite done.
Oh, we're not done.
I know you're trying to end this.
I'm trying to wrap up.
Yeah.
I thought we talked about all the good stuff. Is there anything else?
The ToM thing.
Oh.
Elaine has an offer for ToM.
Oh, right.
It's kind of like a no strings attached.
The ToM thing.
You can be the court bard for Andor again.
Yeah.
You don't have to stay here. You don't have to like live here or whatever. But it's like when you're in Camelin, I want people to know you for who you are and like what you are. And then she gives him like the little thing. And then it turns out it also has a blanket immunity
from all crimes.
Like, yes.
Ever. And I was
pardon,
like,
blanket
whoa,
pardon.
Elaine, you actually have no idea.
A pardon from all the things you could have done here or in Cairhien.
Or anywhere
else. It's fine.
Or
We're
anything
all good.
you ever will do.
Yeah.
Like
forever and ever.
It's wild.
I love it.
Especially because Morghese is, in fact, not dead.
Mm.
And I hope she's coming here soon.
Well, you know what? She ain't queen anymore, so your exile doesn't stand.
Okay.
It's over.
Totally fair.
Kay.
Except, Elaine, man, you don't even know what he did to gain that.
Yeah.
Right? You can't just pardon people when you have no idea what the conviction is.
Well, turns out you can.
We liked him a lot, so
yeah,
it's fine.
We're good.
He's like a dad to me.
Yeah.
Except for that time I was like hitting on him and it was weird.
Well, he was like, don't. And then like it ended.
It went on for too long and it weirded me out.
Well, any amount of time would be too long. So like that's...
It was gross.
Yeah. Okay. And Matt thinks that too. He's like, I heard some rumors. I really hope they're not true. Okay. So Tom's gonna consider the offer.
Shove it up your butt. It's not your business.
I know. Whose side are you on? I don't
you know what? Elaine's.
Okay.
In this scenario.
Okay. So.
But it was gross.
Yeah. No, it was. Tom's going to think about it. He's going to consider the offer. And then they all get invited to dinner. And then Tom Honest is going to get to come to dinner too and meet her. And it's going to be great. He's going to be so happy.
He's going to be so happy. Yeah, dinner time.
Okay.
It's great.
And that's it. Oh, and then like at the end, Elaine's like, hey, by the way, if you need to borrow some money for a new coat.
For some clothes.
I can lend you some money. Because you look like garbage. Okay. Okay, chapter 8. That's it. We're done.
Oh, pardon for crimes known and unknown.
Unknown, yeah.
And it's like, yeah, all of them are unknown. Do you know what crimes he committed? Does Elaine have any clue? I don't.
Well, those are the best kinds of crimes.
But my favorite part, though, in Andor or in Cairhien.
Yeah.
And didn't he just kill the king there? Or have the king killed somehow?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's what I've been saying.
Crimes pardoned there.
That's cool. It worked out well for everybody.
And ToM even like thinks to himself, or like says it out loud, I wonder how she knows about that.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Yes. That's it.
She doesn't. She's just covering her bases.
Mm-hmm. All the places that she's going to rule.
Yeah.
You're good there.
You're good there.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't know if you've done anything there, actually.
Yeah.
She's assuming you might have.
Right.
which is cool.
By the kind of person that you are.
This is the Elaine I like.
Yeah.
This was great.
Yeah, it's a fun chapter.
This was so fun. I really don't think we're going to continue on this fun path for too much longer.
Like good things happening?
Yeah, so I'm going to just like
Well,
enjoy
apparently, what'd you say? Lord Luke is showing up.
Oh,
soon.
Next chapter.
Not next chapter. It'd be like in 2 chapters.
Oh my gosh.
Can't be next chapter. That'd be expected now.
Are we ever going to get to the Tower of Genjai? Is that the end of this book? Maybe.
I'm not.
Yeah, maybe. Also, I think that somehow Matt is going to end up like against Demandred or something. I want him to actually get Slaya Forsaken. I want him because of that. You know, that's a rumor. But
okay. I was like, how are we landing? Okay.
I don't know because that was like army versus army situation.
Sure, Borderlanders. Right? Because
that's where I think
that's what you think.
Demandred
right?
is.
That makes sense.
If Matt can take it to Forsaken at some point, that'd be cool.
Okay.
That'd be cool for him.
Okay. Does he need to? Like, I don't think he's all about that.
No, I just said it would be cool for him.
I don't think he wants to. He's not gonna go fight. Yeah, come on.
See, when you fight me, that's when I know it's gonna happen.
Okay, sure.
When you're like, no, he doesn't need to do that. I'm like, no, that means he's gonna. For sure, he's gonna.
Okay. All right. Well, next episode, 1 chapter.
Yeah. I don't know. I like these 1 chapter. I don't like not being able to read lots and find out more things.
We got lots of stuff happening.
But I like when we have more time to just break it down.
Okay.
Especially when I like it, you know? I'm feeling way too optimistic.
Yeah, well, I'm wondering if you're gonna like really like next chapter or like really not like it. Like it could go.
Really?
I don't know. You might either like it or not like it.
Wow. I guess that's the case for every single chapter I ever
Well, some of
read.
you might be like, oh, it's gonna be a medium chapter, you know?
Yeah. It's polarizing.
Sure. Okay.
I'm so excited.
Okay, go read.
I will.
Okay.
So, before you go ahead and wear your worst coat to go meet the queen, I'm going to say that this is part of the pattern now.
Yeah, it's part of the pattern.
Thanks so much for listening, everyone. The Wheel Weaves is hosted by Dani and Brett, edited and produced by Dani and Brett with Passion Socks, Cody Feltz, Benjamin, Jamie Young, Megan, Jared Berg, Ricky Morissette, Lance Barden, Adam, Mozyme, Michelle Forbes, MKM, Antoine Benoit, Lawrence Bradley, Colby T, Gabby Young, Rycat, Zane Sayaka, Matrix, The Albatross, Bratimus Prime, and Matt Truss, with music by Audionautic. Be sure to check out our Patreon page if you are interested in supporting us and the podcast. We'd love to send you some Patreon-exclusive merchandise as a thank you. Plus, you'll gain access to our episodes earlier than everyone else, and at the time of recording, we have over 40 bonus episodes for your listening pleasure. Find all that and more at patreon.com/thewheelweavespodcast. For general information about our show and information like how to send us shot glasses, how to join our Discord, and how to get in touch with us, visit thewheelweavespodcast.com. And as always, please be sure to give us that 5-star review because it really does make a huge difference in helping people find us. And tell a friend, Riyadh, because referrals really are the best compliment. Thanks again for listening. This really is part of the pattern now.